Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, AllCoinSharper here with the crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert to your own research. Today I'm going to be reviewing Bitcoin because what the fuck just happened? Let's take a look. So this is BTC USD on the weekly. Bitfinex chart, obviously it's just going to be dependent on whatever exchange that you want to trade at or whichever exchange that you chart at, because every exchange was different. Some had longer wicks than others, but generally speaking, when you see these big liquidation events, and yesterday was the largest liquidation event I believe since FTX, then you're going to see different discrepancies across different exchanges. So let's just take a look at the high time frame view here. This is the weekly chart, and in my opinion, you can take a look at the weekly close right at 24K. This was an area that price could not break over a very long time period. You know, it was established back in June 2022, and it wasn't broken until like this mid-March period. So it was almost a year, all things considered. Before price could close above this 24K level. Now, as I said, some exchanges, price did hit that level. Other exchanges like Bitfinex, it did not. But this was an interesting area, in my opinion, this 24K level. And as I said, on some exchanges, it did hit this level. Others, it did not. So this, in my opinion, was the area that I was looking at for a lot of support. And I think that, generally speaking, you can mark this level as tapped. As I said, I think the majority of the exchanges that I was looking at, maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it didn't hit. It got close to it, but didn't hit. Bybit, it did. So Bybit, this level got tapped. I don't know. Okay, so it looks like, this level didn't get tapped, but I did mark this level before when I marked some levels for the downside levels for Bitcoin. And this was an interesting level that I was looking at, 24K. And there's just a lot of confluence with that level. Weekly close overall, I believe it was before a important fib level. The 0.5 fib of this entire move overall. And currently price is at the 200-week EMA. So currently at 25K. This is an interesting area of support that, generally speaking, price bounces off the 200-week EMA, generally speaking. As you can see here, it bounced first as resistance here, and then as support, and now currently it's bouncing as support. So the 200-week EMA, generally speaking, is a good, strong area of support, and you can generally see this as well, where you saw this back at the COVID dump. You saw a lot of interactions with it in the bottom of 2018 going into 2019, and it's been bullish ever since. And obviously, price dipped below it, and now it's reclaimed that spot. So what are some overall downside levels that I'm looking at? If you looked at my video of a few days ago, they are unchanged. So 24K would be an interesting level, in my opinion. Would look at obviously the very important 20K level. 20K is going to be very important for a lot of reasons. Like 20K is just hugely psychological. It's the former all-time high level, and it will be the next level up if this current level, this 24K level, fails. Now, never say never, of course. Like, it could certainly break down to that level. But as of right now, 24K is holding, but don't feel super confident quite yet. And there's a lot of arguments to be made, too, that market structure just got broken in the sense that it just made a lower low. Now, when you see a lower low being established and when you strip it all away, This was the recent low that got formed back in June. And even though it wicked below it, price still made a lower low. Now, does this always mean that it's going to go lower? Not necessarily. I mean, it also is very subjective on what you think about market structure being. So what I mean by that is that this right here back in February, this was a low that was established, and then price made a lower low here. And what happened next? It ripped up higher. We all know that. And it just kept going up. So, even if you declare this a low and you mark this as a technicality in terms of a lower low, then, price is going to be bearish. But again, it's very subjective, and it's really important to keep an open mind overall. I don't really think that this current wick really shows anything personally. To me, the next step is to look to see where the next high is. So, if you looked at my post today as well on Twitter, generally speaking, you're going to see some sort of backfill of this wick where price is going to go and fill this out a little bit. So it's going to go back down below again. 24K is what I was expecting. Maybe not 24K, but maybe like kind of this 25K region. And then I expect to see a bounce. And then if we hit some sort of lower high, that's the point in which I think it's just, we're just done for a while. We're probably going to go to 20Ks. That's entirely possible. But as I said before on recent videos, I believe that most of 2023 is going to be mostly spent just shopping around, not really doing a whole lot. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this kind of go lower. Now, I did have the idea of it going to 35K to 40K. And these ideas currently are being heavily challenged, obviously. I don't really, I definitely don't feel super strongly about that currently. And the reason is just that we saw this wick and we saw this violent move down. Now, like if we had gone and just kind of traded lower and chopped around for a bit, at that point I would consider it. But given the violence of the move and given how low it dipped, I'm not so sure anymore if that's going to be on the table. With that said, I'm going to highlight one other thing, though, is that generally speaking, when lows are formed, they are started by a violent move. And you can see that back in the FTX dump, or we had a violent move down and then price chopped. Again, this was the June area where price had a strong move down. Price formed a bottom before, or what I thought was a bottom. Went from, this kind of 19K level all the way up to 25 and then back down again. But generally speaking, you'll need to see a violent dump in order to form a bottom. Same thing back in May of 2021. Strong dump followed by a bottom. And same thing, even in bull markets like September 21 where you see a strong dump. And what I'm trying to say is that you generally don't see bottoms formed like this, where it goes up, 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 and then just slow grind down like that, unless it's a strong bull market. So we saw that back in this time period back in January of 21. That was kind of highlighted where you see a slow grind down and then, more continuation. That's when alts started to fly. Most bottoms are generally kind of formed like this, where you go up and then up, boom, strong move down, and then you see a lot of chop. You don't get this nice kind of structure like this unless it's a very strong bull market and it's very controlled. Instead, you see this strong type of move, generally speaking, in crypto, where you see price going up, strong move down, chops around, and then that forms the bottom. So in a lot of ways, this type of move is almost kind of healthy in a way. And but as I said, to me, the next situation or next step, I guess, would just be to see what happens with this bottom. Does this hold? Is this going to consolidate before another leg down? Or is it going to consolidate and then it's going to form the next high? And the next high is the area that I'm really looking forward to seeing, actually. Because if it just goes up to kind of this 30K, 28K, 29K area and then dips down below, I think we're just done for a while. I do believe that we are going to form some sort of low, though, around here, this 24, 25K area. I am going to be looking to buy dips around that area because I do believe that, as things start to look bad right here, I'm going to wait for it to test this area and then go higher. And generally speaking, when you see a strong dump, the next few hours right after the dump, you'll see some sort of huge volatility followed by a lower high, and then you'll retest the dump. So what do I mean by that? You're generally going to see something like this: dump, massive volatility, crazy wicks in both directions, and then you'll see like a slow grind up with low volatility. But nonetheless, you'll generally see it come back down near these lows again, and sometimes it'll take out the low, and then you'll see it come back up, and then it will fill out this inefficiency as well. So the only way to really look at this type of price action is to really scale down on lower time frame charts, and then really study them as well. But I'm looking to probably go ahead and buy when this goes lower. Alts will continue to sell off a little bit, and then at that point, I believe alts will have a strong bounce after that point. I wouldn't be surprised if they go up, 20% plus. So that's what kind of my target and my game plan for right now, and just going to take it level to level. But overall, guys, I still believe the overall macro bottom is in. I don't believe that we're going to retest the 15K levels again. It would take a lot for it to get to that point. But I do believe, we already hit the 25K level, and 20K is certainly on the table. So those are levels that I'm currently viewing. I don't know if it's going to hit. Obviously, as I said, it's going to depend on where the next high is. Maybe we come back down and then, hit something like this. That would make sense. But the important thing is that you really just stay alive, and you stay, you don't chop yourself up during this time period. Save capital, because once the bull market hits, it's going to be a lot nicer. Stay safe out there, guys. Talk to you soon.